The Galactic Empire threatened Earth. Humanity smiled back. But as the hours passed, the blip grew larger. Satellites picked up strange energy readings above Earth's orbit, readings unlike anything humanity had ever seen. And then the message arrived. It came as a broadcast, clear and cold, transmitted across all frequencies. Every television, every radio, every internet device that could receive signals from space suddenly carried the same chilling words. Planet Earth, you are now under the attention of the Galactic Empire. Surrender your resources, your technology, and your will, or face complete obliteration. Panic spread faster than any virus. Governments scrambled. Military commanders held urgent meetings. World leaders, used to threats from each other, now faced an enemy from the stars. A civilization so advanced, it could destroy the planet without a single warning shot. But the humans, as unpredictable as always, did not immediately tremble. Instead, somewhere deep in their minds, curiosity stirred. In a small observatory in Chile, Dr. Elena Morales leaned over a console, her eyes wide behind thick glasses. She tapped her fingers on the keyboard, running simulations. "They're not human," she muttered. "But their patterns, they're rigid. Too rigid." Across the world, in a tiny workshop in India, 12-year-old Arav Patel was building a drone from spare electronics. He paused as the Empire's broadcast flickered on his small screen. Instead of fear, a smile crept across his face. "Well," he said, "let's see what they've got." For the first time, humans were looking at the invaders not just with fear, but with curiosity. And curiosity, as it always had, would become their weapon. The Empire's fleet was unlike anything humanity had imagined. Massive ships, shimmering with strange metals that reflected the sun in colors humans didn't have names for, appeared in orbit. They were like floating cities, each one capable of housing thousands, if not millions, of beings. From space, Earth looked small and fragile. The Empire expected panic. They were wrong. In New York, Maria Jenkins, a software engineer, and her brother Malik gathered in their apartment, staring at the live feed. "They probably think we'll give up," Malik said, shaking his head. "They've conquered countless planets. They expect the same from us." Maria leaned forward. "They don't know humans. We don't always follow the rules. We adapt." In less than 24 hours, the world had split into chaos and action. Some people panicked, hiding in bunkers or buying unnecessary supplies. Others, like Dr. Morales and Arav, began analyzing the invaders' technology. Every pattern, every signal, every small movement of the ships was observed, recorded, and studied. Humanity was learning faster than the Empire expected. The Empire, for all its might, was arrogant. It believed it had seen all forms of life, all types of intelligence. Humans, primitive and unpredictable, did not fit into any of its models, and that, unbeknownst to them, was their first mistake. The first contact mission came quietly. Small probes descended from the largest ship, entering Earth's atmosphere without warning. They didn't attack immediately. Their lights glowed in harsh blues and silvers, scanning cities and forests. Military radars tracked them, and fighter jets attempted to intercept, but the probes moved in ways no human pilot could predict. Instead of shooting them down, humans did something unexpected. Engineers like Maria, Malik, and Arav began experimenting. Using existing satellites, old space debris, and even improvised communication arrays, they intercepted the probe's signals. Slowly, painstakingly, they began to understand how the probes functioned. By the second day, Dr. Morales had discovered something remarkable. The probes weren't fully autonomous. They relied on a central communication network that humans could subtly manipulate. It was a flaw, small but exploitable. "Everything the Empire builds has a pattern," she explained to her team over a video call. "They rely too much on structure, on predictability. Humans, we're different. We don't follow patterns, and that's exactly what they fear." The news spread quickly among the scientific community. What had seemed like desperation, the human reaction to the empire, was now turning into strategy. People were building small networks, sharing observations, and testing minor interventions. Even teenagers and hobbyists joined in, hacking signals or creating holographic decoys to confuse the probes. Meanwhile, the empire grew frustrated. Their scans showed that humans were unafraid. Their broadcasts were filled with humor, mockery, and defiance. In some cases, Earthlings sent back jokes, riddles, and paradoxes over the open channels. The aliens did not understand humor. They did not understand the delight humans found in their defiance, and that confusion slowed their plans. By the end of the first week, humans had done something the Empire never anticipated. The probes, designed to gather information and test defenses, had become tools for humans. They were intercepted, analyzed, and repurposed. Some were used as communication relays, others as observation drones to predict the movement of alien ships. Humanity had turned the invaders' own technology against them, but without firing a single weapon. In the streets of Tokyo, people gathered on their rooftops at night, watching the alien fleet glimmer in orbit. Children laughed, pointing at lights that flickered as if they were playing tag with the stars. Scientists smiled quietly in labs, monitoring signals and noting patterns. Civilians continued their daily lives, sharing memes, jokes, and stories about the funny aliens in the sky. And somewhere aboard the largest ship in the Empire's fleet, a commander frowned. Their scanners could not account for this behavior. Humans were supposed to panic. Humans were supposed to beg for mercy. Instead, they were enjoying themselves. "Report," the commander demanded. "They are unafraid," a junior officer replied. "And they are cooperating with each other in ways that are unpredictable." "Unpredictable," the commander's voice was sharp. "Explain." "They have turned our probes into surveillance tools. They communicate instantly across vast distances. They coordinate without a central system. Our calculations cannot anticipate their actions." The commander's hand tightened on the console. He did not understand. This species, with no interstellar travel experience, no advanced weaponry, was somehow adapting faster than his fleet could respond. Back on Earth, the humans continued their work. Dr. Morales and her team designed a simulation to test the aliens' behavior patterns. Arav and his friends developed small drones to move in formations that mimicked alien ships, confusing sensors and cameras. Entire cities became part of a global experiment in ingenuity. The Empire attempted intimidation. They fired small energy pulses near military bases, designed to test reactions. But humans simply recorded the pulses, measured their effects, and then broadcast the data worldwide. School teachers, engineers, and amateur inventors began using the information to design creative responses. Humanity smiled, knowing that even the Empire's threats were now part of their strategy. By the second week, the humans had achieved something remarkable. They had gained a tactical advantage without firing a single shot. The Empire, mighty and terrifying, had underestimated the value of unpredictability, creativity, and cooperation. The week ended with a subtle but profound victory. In London, Maria sent a small signal through a network of hijacked probes. It simply said, "We see you, we understand you, and we are ready." It was a simple message, but it carried something far more powerful than weapons: confidence. Humanity was not afraid. Humanity was awake. And somewhere deep in the Galactic Empire's command center, the commander rubbed his temples. Every attempt to intimidate, every strategy to coerce had failed. The humans were smiling back. He realized then, perhaps too late, that he was facing not just a species, but a force of unpredictability, wit, and unity unlike any he had ever encountered. The kind of force no weapon could destroy. The first chapter of humanity's defiance was complete. The Earth remained untouched. The Empire remained in orbit, powerful yet perplexed. And humanity, for the first time in the history of interstellar threats, had begun to turn fear into opportunity and chaos into strategy. Tomorrow they would do more. They would learn more, and they would continue to smile. Because for humans, smiling was never just an expression. It was a statement. We are ready. Humanity had survived the first week. The Galactic Empire's massive fleet hovered above the planet, unmoving, frustrated, confused. The invaders expected fear. They expected chaos. What they found instead was cooperation, curiosity, and cunning. Dr. Elena Morales leaned over her console in the Chilean observatory, her eyes scanning the data collected from the alien probes. The results were astonishing. "They think they are observing us," she said to her team, "but we are observing them even more." Across the globe, engineers, scientists, and ordinary citizens were already turning the aliens' own systems against them. Satellites that had once been used only for communication were now part of a massive network designed to trick and confuse the Empire's sensors. Simple holographic projectors, drones, and improvised communication arrays created illusions in the sky, making the aliens believe fleets of defensive ships were mobilizing. In Mumbai, 12-year-old Arav Patel adjusted his homemade drone. He had rigged it with a small projector that could mimic the lights and movement of alien scout ships. Around him, a group of neighborhood children laughed as the drones flew in intricate patterns, forming shifting constellations that confused the Empire's sensors. "This is fun," Arav shouted. "They think there are hundreds of ships, but it's just us." Meanwhile, Maria Jenkins in New York was analyzing the Empire's signals. She discovered that their communications were rigid, precise, almost mechanical. The aliens relied heavily on patterns, routines, and predictable behavior. Humans, by contrast, thrived on chaos, surprise, and improvisation. "If we can become unpredictable," Maria told her brother Malik, "we can control their perception. We can make them hesitate, second-guess, even retreat, all without firing a weapon." The first human countermeasures were small. At first, they were experiments, improvisations, and playful tests. Engineers modified old satellites to project holographic duplicates of alien ships in orbit. These illusions moved in impossible formations, creating the appearance of a massive human fleet. Drones on Earth moved in patterns that imitated the Empire's own scout ships, confusing sensors and cameras. Schools and universities joined in. Students built small robots that mimicked alien probe movements, sending false signals to the Empire's communication networks. Civilians broadcast riddles, paradoxes, and jokes through hacked channels, messages that frustrated the alien officers who could not understand humor or irony. It was not brute force. It was intelligence, creativity, and cooperation. By the third week, the humans had gained a major advantage. They had learned the Empire's behavior patterns and weaknesses. Small teams of engineers and scientists discovered that the alien ships relied on centralized command signals that could be subtly redirected. Using hacked probes and improvised transmitters, humans began feeding the Empire false information. In London, a team led by Dr. Morales created a simulation to predict the aliens' response. They discovered that the Empire's fleet was highly sensitive to anomalies. Even minor disruptions in communication could make them pause, hesitate, or retreat. "This is our opening," Morales said. "We don't need weapons. We need strategy, deception, and imagination. We can make them think Earth is unassailable without firing a single shot." On the ground, ordinary people became part of the effort. Farmers in Brazil adjusted their radio equipment to pick up alien signals and broadcast harmless but confusing interference. Schoolchildren in Kenya sent messages in code that the aliens could not understand, mimicking human unpredictability. Engineers in Japan built drones that could appear in multiple locations at once, creating the illusion of massive fleets. Even city lights were used as part of the plan. In New York, London, and Tokyo, synchronized light patterns on skyscrapers created confusing reflections and shadows in orbit. From the Empire's perspective, it appeared that Earth had fleets of ships, mobile defenses, and advanced technologies far beyond reality. The aliens began to hesitate. Their scans showed movement where there was none. Their calculations were disrupted. For the first time, the Empire was unsure, confused, and frustrated. Arrev Patel's drone team discovered something remarkable by accident. One of their drones had intercepted a minor command signal from an alien probe, and without intending to, sent it back slightly altered. The probe adjusted its path and the Empire's main fleet responded incorrectly. "It worked," Arrev shouted. "We just tricked them." Dr. Morales saw the potential immediately. "If we can do this on a larger scale," she said, "we can control their entire operation. They rely on precision. We can create chaos in their ranks." Maria and Malik in New York worked tirelessly to expand the system. They programmed adaptive AI to mimic human unpredictability, generating signals, movements, and patterns that the Empire could not anticipate. Every false signal, every playful hologram, every strange drone movement became part of a coordinated plan to mislead the aliens. The turning point came on the fourth week. The Empire decided to escalate. A wave of scout ships entered Earth's atmosphere, designed to intimidate and map the planet's defenses. But humans were ready. In Mumbai, Arev's drones flew in formation, their holographic projections multiplying in the sky. Across continents, satellites and drones created massive optical illusions, making it appear as if Earth had deployed thousands of defense ships. Communication channels flooded with playful signals, misleading commands, and harmless interference. The Empire scouts became disoriented. They reported impossible movements, phantom fleets, and confusing signals. Officers aboard the main fleet could not believe their sensors. The humans, primitive as they seemed, had created an illusion of overwhelming power. Humans did not stop there. Civilians joined in with creativity. In Paris, street artists created massive murals with reflective paints that distorted signals when viewed from orbit. In Nairobi, engineers built simple drones that mimicked alien patterns, creating the appearance of active defenses. In Shanghai, students synchronized thousands of drones with LED lights, creating moving patterns that mimicked alien ships. Everywhere, humans cooperated. Scientists shared findings in real time. Engineers improvised solutions. Children contributed playfully, unknowingly assisting in the largest defensive operation in Earth's history. By the fifth week, the Empire was forced to pause. Their fleet hovered, unsure of what was real. Their probes returned incorrect readings. Their communications were disrupted. The humans had done the impossible. They had created an entire planetary defense without weapons, without violence, and without ever leaving Earth. The Empire decided to test humans again. They sent a massive ship closer to Earth, designed to intimidate and gather accurate data. Humans responded not with fear but with ingenuity. Dr. Morales' team combined optical illusions, adaptive AI, and predictive modeling to anticipate the ship's movements. Arav and his friends expanded their drone network, creating confusion in the ship's sensors. Maria and Malik transmitted playful signals and paradoxical messages directly into the alien communication channels. The ship became trapped in a network of human ingenuity. Every move it made was anticipated, every action countered with creativity. The aliens were baffled. They could not understand why humans were not panicking, why humans were able to predict their moves, and why Earth's defenses seemed everywhere at once. By the sixth week, humanity had achieved a remarkable victory. The Empire's fleet, for the first time, had to retreat. They were not defeated by weapons, but by intelligence, creativity, and cooperation. Humans had shown that raw power could be countered with wit, planning, and unpredictability. In the streets of Tokyo, children cheered as their holographic drones painted the sky with colors. In London, engineers celebrated quietly, knowing their work had protected millions. In Chile, Dr. Morales looked at the stars and smiled. "We didn't fight them," she said. "We outsmarted them, and that is more powerful than any weapon." The empire would not give up. They would return stronger and wiser, but humans were ready. They had learned that their strength was not in weapons, but in creativity, unity, and the ability to adapt. They had smiled in the face of fear, and their smiles had become shields. R.F. Patel looked up at the night sky, his drones hovering around him like tiny stars. "They'll be back," he said to his friends, "but we'll be ready, and this time we'll be even smarter." Maria Jenkins sent a final message through the adapted probes broadcasting across the fleet. "We see you, we understand you, and we are ready for anything." The humans had turned the tables. They had taken what the Empire considered a primitive planet and made it a fortress of intelligence and imagination. And as the stars sparkled above Earth, humans everywhere smiled, knowing that their greatest victories came not from violence, but from thinking, cooperating, and creating together. For the first time in its history, the Galactic Empire had been bested by something it could not understand: the unpredictable, resourceful, and endlessly creative human spirit. Humanity had countered, and the smile that spread across the planet was not one of fear or panic. It was one of confidence, hope, and promise, because humans had learned a simple truth. Sometimes, the greatest weapon is a mind that refuses to give up and a heart that refuses to fear. The stars above Earth were silent for the first time in weeks. The Empire's fleet hovered in orbit, massive and intimidating, but it no longer moved aggressively. The humans had survived. The humans had outsmarted the invaders. Dr. Elena Morales sat in the Chilean observatory, staring at the dark sky. For the first time, she felt a moment of quiet pride. The planet had survived not through weapons, not through battles, but through cleverness, cooperation, and creativity. But she knew the Empire would return. They always did. And humanity had to be ready, not just to survive, but to thrive. The first days after the Empire's retreat were filled with planning. Governments, scientists, engineers, and civilians worked together to strengthen Earth's defenses. Not weapons, but intelligence networks, communication systems, and adaptive technologies that could respond faster than the aliens could predict. In New York, Maria Jenkins led a team that expanded the AI systems used to mislead the Empire. These systems could generate endless variations of holographic fleets, signal interference, and false messages, all coordinated across continents. It was as if the entire planet had become a living, breathing defense system. Across the globe, ordinary people continued to contribute. Children built drones. Farmers and fishermen shared observation data. Engineers improved satellite networks. Every citizen had a role, and every role mattered. Humanity had discovered the greatest truth about themselves. When united, their creativity could match or surpass even the most advanced alien technology. Meanwhile, the Empire studied Earth from afar. Its officers were frustrated and confused. No other species had responded with such intelligence and ingenuity. On countless worlds, fear and submission had followed the Empire's arrival. But on Earth, something extraordinary had happened. The humans had resisted not with force but with wit, adaptability, and cooperation. A galactic officer scratched at his helmet. "Why do they smile?" he asked. "Why do they not fear us?" His superior frowned. "They are unpredictable, and unpredictability is dangerous. They are not like other species. Observe carefully and report every anomaly." Unseen by the aliens, humanity was already preparing the next stage. They were not content with simply surviving. They wanted to show that Earth was a planet that could never be easily conquered. and that intelligence, creativity, and unity were powers no weapon could destroy. Arav Patel stood on the roof of his apartment building in Mumbai, watching thousands of drones hover silently in formation. The drones formed moving shapes, an ever-changing display of constellations, patterns, and even human faces. Children laughed as their creations reflected sunlight, confusing satellites and sensors above. Arav grinned. "They'll never figure it out," he said. "Every time they think they know what we'll do, we'll be doing something else." Dr. Morales joined him via video call. "Exactly," she said, "and that is the lesson we are sending to the Empire. Intelligence, creativity, and unpredictability, these are our greatest defenses, and they cannot touch them." The Empire decided to return. They had spent weeks regrouping, analyzing Earth's responses, and preparing a larger fleet. Their intention was simple: intimidate, gather accurate data, and finally force humanity to surrender. But humans were ready. Maria and Malik had expanded their systems. Holographic fleets now numbered in the thousands, appearing and disappearing unpredictably. AI-driven drones moved in ways that no algorithm aboard the Empire's ships could anticipate. Messages filled with riddles, jokes, and paradoxes flooded the alien communication channels, disrupting their command protocols. Dr. Morales coordinated global observation networks. Every scientist, student, engineer, and hobbyist became part of a planet-wide web of information and action. Humans had transformed their entire species into a single, intelligent organism, adaptive, creative, and relentless. As the Empire's massive ships approached, they were met with confusion. Sensors detected fleets that did not exist. Communication signals were altered and redirected. Holographic images created false threats, while drones moved in impossible formations. Every move made by the Empire was anticipated, analyzed, and countered in real time. The alien commanders could not comprehend it. They could not understand why humans were so unpredictable. Their calculations failed. Their assumptions were shattered. They had underestimated the simplest, most dangerous force in the galaxy: the human mind. In Paris, synchronized drones projected a massive human face across the clouds, smiling at the alien fleet. In Tokyo, skyscrapers reflected light in patterns that made the ships. Sensors think Earth had mobilized thousands of defensive units. Across Africa, South America, and Australia, similar illusions played out, coordinated through networks of scientists and citizens. Arav's team projected constellations that shifted constantly, creating the illusion of a moving alien fleet, tricking the Empire into thinking they were facing forces far greater than Earth could actually field. "The more they try to attack, the more confused they get," Arav said, "and every time they get confused, we get stronger." The Empire tried to send direct communication, demanding surrender. But humans responded with riddles, paradoxes, and humor, messages so strange that alien officers argued among themselves about their meaning. Every attempt to intimidate failed. Every move the Empire made was anticipated and redirected. In London, Dr. Morales observed the communications. "They cannot understand us," she said, "and that is our advantage. We don't need to fight, we just need to think, adapt, and cooperate." By the 7th week, the Empire realized a critical truth: Earth was not a planet to conquer. Humans were not weak, predictable, or fearful. They were a species that could adapt faster than the Empire could calculate, that could turn chaos into strategy, and that could use creativity as a weapon. The climax came when the Empire launched a massive fleet above the Atlantic Ocean, intending to intimidate and survey. But humans had already set the stage. Global networks coordinated holograms, drones, and signals to create impossible illusions. Ships appeared to split and multiply. Communications were intercepted and twisted. Every sensor gave contradictory information. The Empire's fleet became paralyzed by confusion. Officers argued, systems malfunctioned, and ships moved in circles, trying to respond to phantom threats. Humans had done what no one else had. They had defeated the Empire with intelligence, creativity, and cooperation, without firing a single shot. From space, Earth shone like a beacon, not because of power or weapons, but because of the human mind. Every city, every laboratory, every school, and every home had contributed. The planet itself had become a living, adaptive network of strategy, and the Empire could not comprehend it. On Earth, celebrations were quiet but widespread. People laughed, smiled, and shared stories of ingenuity. Children in Mumbai cheered as drones danced across the sky. Engineers in New York clinked glasses in small groups, proud of what they had accomplished. Scientists in Chile looked at the stars, knowing they had changed the galaxy forever. R.F. Patel and his friends laughed as they watched the Empire's retreating ships. "They thought they could scare us," he said, "but we just made them confused, and we did it together." Dr. Morales nodded. "This is only the beginning," she said. "We have shown the galaxy that intelligence, creativity, and unity are forces no weapon can defeat. Earth is safe, not because of power, but because of our minds." The Empire would return eventually. Every species learns from failure. But humans had gained something more valuable than victory. They had learned the power of cooperation, the strength of intelligence, and the impact of creativity. They had smiled in the face of fear, and the universe had taken notice. Maria Jenkins sent a final broadcast to the alien fleet, a simple message. "We see you, we understand you, and we are ready for anything, but we do not fear, we adapt, we create, we smile, and that is a power you cannot take from us." In the silence that followed, Earthlings everywhere understood a simple truth. The galaxy may have weapons, fleets, and advanced technology, but humans had hearts, minds, and unity. And sometimes, that was enough to stop even the most powerful force in the universe. As Arv looked at the night sky, the drones forming constellations above him, he whispered, "Let them come, we'll be ready, and we'll smile." And for the first time in the galaxy's history, a species had been undefeated not because of war, but because of human ingenuity, courage, and laughter. Humanity had survived. Humanity had adapted. Humanity had smiled back.